Hey everybody, my name's Critter Pickleberry. This is Florida Man Cooking, and today we are going to make some Scotch eggs. Now normally we go right into a little intro thing with some music and then I start cooking. Today though, we're probably going to take a little tour of London. I was just there. I go there, I don't know, at least a dozen times a year for work. My wife's from there. She's born and raised there. So it's kind of like a second home to me, and I found the best Scotch egg I'd ever had until today's Scotch egg that I made in London last week. Actually, not just last week. I've been going to the same pub. It's an old haunted pub. It's the most haunted pub in London, apparently. It used to be an Army NCO club or officers club. I'm not sure which. There was a guy playing poker there who cheated. They killed him. And to this day, people put money on the ceiling to try to get the ghost to be able to pay back his debt. So once he gets his debt paid back, apparently he'll stop haunting the place. At least that's the legend. There's probably like $1,000,000 on that ceiling of this joint. So I got some pictures of the pub, some pictures of Hyde Park where the werewolves of London live. And that's about it. So if you want to skip that and go straight to the food, to the cooking, that's in there. It's only about a 10 or 11 minute video, but probably the last 5 or 6 is cooking. The first 3 or 4 is just kind of walk through the park to find this pub and a little bit of nonsense that I'll be saying during that time. So that's what I know. Welcome aboard. Thanks for joining us. And please, if you like this stuff, like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel to grow. Otherwise, the algorithm doesn't hit me, and I'll have the consistent 16 likes or 16 views or whatever it is. Not a whole lot, but I'd like to get a little bit bigger. Thanks a lot. Have a great day. Take care. All right, guys. So that's a Scotch egg. That's what it looks like. It's just a soft-boiled egg inside some sausage that's breaded and then deep fried and served with mustard. It's really good. This is the pub that I found that I think has the second best Scotch eggs on the planet, behind the ones that you're going to eat today if you make this recipe. It's pretty awesome. And while we're at it, here's my lovely wife, Mrs. Pickleberry, who hails from London. So on the north side of Hyde Park, that's kind of where this is. This is the area I stay in when I'm over there, which is pretty frequent. Sped this up. They don't really walk that fast in London. They're actually kind of slow walkers, I think. But this is just a quick trip through to the pub that we're going to go eat an egg at, steal the recipe, come home and make it. This is a pretty cool park. They have a giant Christmas thing there. They redo the sod every year in January. They rip all the grass out and put new grass down, and it grows because it's wet and cold there, and it works out pretty well. Little lake over there. Park wasn't too busy this day. It's a nice place to walk. You can get there without going on the road, and I kind of like that. So we spit out here. There's a giant rock that I've always wondered what the heck that is because there's no other rocks like that around. So I'm pretty sure that's a MI6 listening device, but I don't know that for sure. That's just an idea. And a little creek with a little waterfall back there. A lot of times you'll see fox running through there in the fall and winter. It's kind of pretty. And then as we kind of get out towards the edge of the park, the building on the left is the French embassy. The building on the right is the Kuwaiti embassy. And we'll just kind of cruise out here. I'm just showing you this because it's kind of neat how this thing works out. This old army fort was built in the late 1700s or early 1800s. And the only thing really left discernible as part of the fort is the old Oak Club that we're going to go to. This back alley that you turn in, it's always a little weird. This isn't bad on a bright sunny day, but on a cold, dark, rainy night, which is usually when I get there, it looks kind of weird because these dudes in black speak Russian and they're always standing out there. I don't know if they're valets or security or selling hot dogs or what, but they don't give off a very friendly vibe. And then you come around this little corner, and there's just a really kind of a pretty back entrance to this. You can tell the architecture was built for carriages and stuff. As we get into this driveway, there's cobblestone streets. This is the old army buildings right here. We'll hang a right down this alleyway, and what you'll see is more cobblestone, narrow little way. That was enough to get a cart through, I guess, but you probably couldn't get a tank through there. Then I'm not sure if this was the old parade ground or what it was, but I don't know what any of these buildings were back in the day. The one up on the right here is where we're headed. And if you look back in the good old days, they used to capture all the rainwater and send it into cisterns, use that to drink and cook with. So that's probably what that little trench is, just on the left or in the middle of the screen. So this is all old army base. They redid the kitchen, I don't know, a year or two ago, and they're a little quicker getting the food out now. It's pretty highly rated. It's a pretty famous little pub over there, and it's certainly my favorite one in London. There's some over in Brighton that I like better, but if you're in proper London, this is a pretty cool place to go. So coming around the corner, here's some more cobblestone streets, probably from a couple hundred years ago, and there's the pub. There's if you ever get in this place, this is the newspaper clippings talking about the ghosts that habitats it and how he got there. It's kind of an interesting read while you're sipping on a cold pint. And there's the $1 billion stuck to the seat. It's not dollars, it's pounds and euros and dollars and everything else. Some big bills up there too. There's a boat driving past the house. Excuse me. That noise gets to the microphone. That's a Scotch egg. And it's pretty good. I really enjoy these things. They're full of protein. One will do you, two is really doing you. So let's cook some. We'll start out by boiling a little bit of water, and we're going to soft boil some eggs. I did 7 minutes on the eggs, which it turns out I think was just maybe a minute too long. I think next time I do 6 or 5.5, so you get a little bit more runny on it. I'd like to thank my girls Larry and Josh and Colonel Sanders and the rest of the girls out there in the yard that make these eggs for me. Uh, I've evolved. I used to just drop these things in with my bare hand, and I usually get splatterback. But I'm getting wise in my old age now that I'm 60, and I figured out that you can use a spoon and you don't get hurt, which is nice. So as it boil for a little bit, we'll get a bigger pot out. We're going to deep fry these things once they're all rolled up. So stick a little oil in there and preheat it. So when it's time to use it, it's closer to ready to go. And of course, we cook these at 325 degrees. The egg is going to already be cooked, but that just cooks the sausage and the panko breadcrumbs we have on it. So the panko I used seasoned. The sausage I used sausage that has sage in it, so I didn't really have to add a lot of different spices to it. The only thing I did is with the panko, I added quite a bit of black pepper because I just like black pepper. But, so the eggs go from the pot boiling instantly into a ice bath. We do that to stop the cooking. Otherwise, the thing's gonna get cooked again in hot oil anyway. So you want to keep it fairly soft while you're doing this. And to do that, you got to stop the cooking by dropping it in some ice and water. And we let it sit in there for about 10 minutes. And then we're gonna use Speedy Vision to peel an egg or 4. You'll notice I didn't use 1 egg. That's for an egg wash later. And of course, as always, if you look at the description, I'll have the recipe for all this written down. This is just a view. And boy, by the way, I suck at peeling eggs. It takes a little while for me. I'm not good at it without wrecking the egg. If I don't care how the egg looks, I can do it pretty quick. There's 4 eggs boiled, and one that we're going to crack and whip up to use as an egg wash. That just helps the panko stick. So I took a piece of plastic wrap, put a little bit of olive oil on it, and spread it out real thin. And that just helps get the sausage back off the plastic wrap and onto the egg. So the way we do this is we take a little of that sage sausage and we flatten it out with my hamburger smasher that I use for smash burgers. Just peel that parchment paper off it, stick the egg in the middle, wrap it up, lift it up, move it around, do what you got to do to make the sausage kind of form fit the egg. And give it a little squeeze, set it aside. Now, I used paper towel on this where I set it aside. I wouldn't do that again because it kind of tended to stick and wreck some of my beautiful artwork. But it wasn't a big deal either. It was pretty easily overcome by just kind of repatting it down before I put it in the wash. So we'll make a few of these, and then we go straight to flour, straight to an egg wash, and then to some panko. And it's pretty much done except for the frying at this point. So we'll make 4 of those. And we're using Speedy Vision for that too, because it's really boring to watch. I'm bored and I made it. One more to go. And then we're just going to drop them in 325-degree oil. Now, if you get too hot on the oil, you'll burn the outside and the sausage won't really get cooked on the inside. If you go too cold, obviously it just takes a lot longer. So you try to keep it right at 325. I got there eventually. This is edited a little bit, so you won't see that on the thermometer, but I just use that thermometer to do it, and it worked out pretty good. And then just to test it, you can drop a couple of pieces of panko in there and see if they sizzle. I turned the sound off because I had my feral hogs were barking all over the house. They wanted that sausage bad. But here we go. And once again, I got stupid and I used bare hands to put this in the pot, which don't do that. You just use a slotted spoon or something. It goes right in a lot easier. They're pretty tender. You're worried about knocking that breadcrumb off while you're doing this. But really the thing you should be worried most about is sticking your thumb in hot oil, which I did. But not bad. I'm okay. Skin stayed on. So those stay in there, cook about 4 or 5 minutes, get good and brown on the outside. And you can see when you flip it over, it's a little bit more color. And we'll do two at a time so we don't overcrowd the pot and get confused with things. That's about it. So we cook them and then we eat them. I think the oil might have been just a hair hot. So here's my Christmas tree cutting board, which I don't know why I used that. I think because it was clean, and a big knife. And we are just going to take that knife and cut that egg in half lengthwise. And if you do it just right, you're still going to have a runny yolk in there. My yolk was not hard-boiled yolk, but it was not as runny as I would have liked. That's why I said I'd probably take a half a minute to a minute off the cook on it. But it looks pretty good. Got some chives chopped up and some Dijon mustard. All right, so we'll put a little chives on this bad boy. And a little bit of Dijon mustard. Oh, boy. That's the bee's knees right there, sister. Hey, come back, see us again real soon. Let me know what you think. Bye. Well, thank you, Josh. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Colonel Sanders. Thank you, Jennifer Lopez. Those eggs were delicious. Good talk.